What's the big deal with quilters and cotton? Why? Cotton fabric? Yep. Okay, we use cotton fabric, therefore we like cotton thread. You're the anchor lady. Okay, hold them both, Linda. Here we go. What is the big deal of having cotton thread? Watch your neck. I lost a lady last week. Okay, Catherine, you better grab it. I was going to strangle you. What's the big deal of having cotton thread in your cotton fabric?
Lint.
Lint. Now, is that a good or a bad thing?
Bad.
Okay, so why do we use it? Okay, and pass it down.
Somebody told you to.
Why do they tell us to use cotton thread in our cotton fabric?
Break the fibers in the fabric.
That's the one I hear all the time. Pass it down. I hear all the time, don't you dare use poly in the quilt because it'll tear through the fabric. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for years.
Of course, art quilters like poly.
Grab it and pass it down.
Okay.
Oh, do I have both of those?
Oh, you missed one.
I'm sorry.
As I pass this out, there are 2 rules. Do not break it and do not burn it. This is our first laboratory analysis test. You think you have a bad job, imagine my job. I was on the airplane a month ago. I love airplane rides because I'm usually asleep before the plane takes off. It's my downtime. Before, just hold on to those. Just before I could get my earphones on, I happened to sit next to a guy who wanted to chat. And that's my downtime. I really don't want to talk. And he turned to me and said, "Are you traveling on business?" I said, "Yes, please, don't ask. Don't ask. What do you do?" I said, "I teach thread seminars." He said, "I'm sorry?" I said, "I teach thread seminars." And he said, "I know, I heard you. I said, I'm sorry." So I was really embarrassed. So I had to think, what am I going to say next time? And it happened again. Before I could get my earphones on business, "Yeah, what do you do?" So, "Okay, sir, I'm on my way to Chicago. I'm going to be in a room with 100 ladies tomorrow night. I'm going to tie them all up." And he didn't say another word. So this is my job description. You are now tied up. Question number 1. This is not a trick question, but guess the fiber types. You have 2 strands. There's a black one, you have a white one. They're both labeled same weight. So we're not comparing apples to oranges, but hold it up to the light. Look at it, lick it, smell it, taste it. Any way you can determine the fiber types. And tell me, one of them really is poly, one of them really is cotton, by the way. Which one's cotton? How did you know that? The fuzz. You hold it up to the light, you see all the fuzz on the black. I'm glad you came to school. You all flunked. The black one is polyester, the white one is cotton. Now, hold on to it, but don't break it yet. We're going to address the myth, what I call the biggest myth in the quilting world, that do not use poly in your quilt because it will tear through the fibers. That's a myth. Here's proof. It has nothing to do with the fiber type, but everything to do with strength. Now, it might be true that if you had a very, very strong thread and you had a flimsy or a worn and torn fabric, that the thread could start to tear through that. I have never seen that happen, but I know somebody has heard about it. And the world believes it now. But it's a tug of war out there. If you had a pretty good fabric and a pretty good thread, and they're going to be equalized in stress, it's not going to tear through that fabric. So here's hands-on proof. We're going to break the black one. This is the polyester that fooled most of us because it was fuzzy. It looked like cotton. Break it. We know poly is pretty durable. Not too strong, not too weak. It's just a good strength thread, right? Now break the white one, which is cotton, and tell me which is stronger. The cotton is twice as strong, and it's the same weight thread. So now we're going to make 2 quilts. We're going to make one with the black thread, one with the white thread. We're going to piece with it, we're going to quilt with it. These 2 quilts are going to go through extreme wear and tear. In fact, every single day, Johnny comes home from school, he walks through the mud puddles, he walks up to his room, and Mom made these 2 quilts, one with the black thread, one with the white thread, on twin beds, and Johnny jumps from bed to bed to bed, and Mom gets mad at Johnny every single day. And it goes on for 3 years. Mom has to wash the quilts every day. She doesn't have a dryer. She goes outside, hangs them over the clothesline, and beats these quilts until they're dry every single day. And guess what? After 3 years, you hold these 2 quilts up, you can almost see through them because extreme wear and tear because of this. Now, if it were true through wear and tear that a thread could cut through the fabric, which one of these were stronger? The white or the black? The white one was, but it's almost twice as strong. And guess what it is? Cotton. It has nothing to do with the fiber type. You will hear again soon from a friend, from a customer, don't use poly in the quilt. If you're a long armor, you may have customers come to you and say, don't you dare use poly when you quilt my quilt, because they've heard the myth. But now you can wave your diploma in their face and say, I have a PhD in threadology. I know that that is not right. Poly is perfectly fine to use in quilting. It has more to do with the type of thread, the strength of the thread, than the fiber type. That's a myth that we're trying to bust and get rid of out there in the world.